one half of the polity in India today that even when a festival brings two organs of the state together, people look to politicize. Look at the videos on your screen. The backdrop is defined by the image of Lord Ganesha. There you can see Lord Ganesha, viewers. In the foreground are the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice of India, flanked by his wife, holy men, paying homage to the revered deity. It is Ganesh Chaturthi, and festivals are a time when leaders of state can cross the aisle and engage. It's a time, viewers, in our custom where even enemies can sometimes close ranks, set aside their animus, and come together for the sake of an elevated spirituality, viewers, for goodness. But this harmless, benign act of socializing, of breaking down barriers, blessed by God, brought on an invitation from the Chief Justice of India to the Prime Minister, has kicked up a storm. Usual suspects in the ecosystem are pained because they think the invitation is a sign that the Chief Justice of India has supplicated before the executive. That fraternizing with the Prime Minister away from professional engagement constitutes a moral compromise with the independence of the judiciary. Viewers, Dr. Manmohan Singh, when he was Prime Minister, invited the then Chief Justice of India to his residence to celebrate iftar. No one had a problem back then. In fact, K.G. Balakrishnan went on to assume a post of some importance, and many people also had a problem with that, but that's a separate issue. I'll come to that, viewers. But in this instance, so blinded by their own compulsions of painting the judiciary as a handmaiden of the government to further a narrative of victimhood, that, oh, we never win in court because, you see, what can we do? The system is rigged against us. There is never any justice for us because the system is rigged against us. The Prime Minister controls everything. This ecosystem has forgotten that the Chief Justice of India has delivered body blows to the NDA of recent. His actions, in fact, speak louder than words. And they will certainly not be compromised just because he sent an invitation to the Prime Minister to be part of something that he believes in, something that a large number of Indians believe in, which is propitiating the gods. Viewers, the Chief Justice of India's verdicts on electoral bond case, the summary Supreme Court bail to several top-flight politicians embroiled in ED cases. You name them, viewers, from Sisodia to the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, to the closest relative of KCR, in the high-profile liquor scam, where the government has put down so much political capital, have all gone against the government. The verdict on the Supreme Court sub-quotas and other matters that have arguably eroded the image of the NDA and possibly even cost them seats in the Lok Sabha elections. If we were sold out, viewers, if our interests were sold out by the Chief Justice of India, we would have known. It would have been apparent. And he wouldn't have upset the government through his rulings either if he wanted to make a quick buck or further his own interest. But because the ecosystem wants to prove that Modi has rigged the entire system, they're pressing on with an outlandish conspiracy theory. Let me introduce you to some of what is being said. Sanjay Raut of the UBT Shiv Sena, the Uddhav Bal Thackeray Sena, has said This meeting raises questions over the Chief Justice of India's ability to dispense justice objectively, unquote. That's what he's saying. TKS Elangovan, DMK leader, quote, many judges are given big government posts after retirement. This raises doubts on judicial independence, unquote. Viewers, if a Chief Justice moves into the Rajya Sabha right after his term, it's a problem. I agree. But do these people know that there are several tribunals that can only be headed by senior members of the judiciary? So if a judge leaves, retires, and is appointed to a tribunal, it is because that is the written rule. No one's doing anyone. Look at what Indira Jaising says. She's a senior lawyer. She says, and I quote, Chief Justice of India has compromised separation of powers between executive and judiciary, lost all confidence in the independence of the Chief Justice of India. Viewers, let me tell you, there are many times that lawyers and justices also fraternize. They play cricket matches together. There are all sorts of other activities which don't necessarily fall within the professional framework. Are we to assume that there is match fixing going on there also, viewers? That these lawyers are somehow suborning the justices? I mean, viewers, does the ecosystem think that the Prime Minister can't bear down on the Chief Justice of India in private away from the public glare? That if he has to pass on a message, he has to do it in this fashion? If the CJI is compromising the judiciary's independence, as they allege, wouldn't the other judges have held a press conference as they have done to expose in the past, viewers? Is the Chief Justice of India so naive that he would give the ecosystem fodder to make these baseless conjectures by inviting the media for a photo op? It makes no sense, viewers. And are we all now supposed to pretend that the ecosystem is pointing out to something unprecedented? As if Chief Justices of India and Prime Ministers haven't met and conferred in the past? Some of their meetings, viewers, let me even tell you this, and I have tweeted about this, have not been very fleshed out or detailed. There are no real extensive minutes of those meetings. Yet these people met. At every instance, viewers, did money change hands? Did influence change hands? As if Chief Justice of India haven't praised incumbent Prime Ministers in the past. That somehow was okay, and this is not. As if when they have expressed their regard for past PMs, they did this because they were furthering the executive's interests by delivering fixed verdicts or somehow ingratiating themselves so that they could become big bosses after retirement. Anyhow, if previous incidents of bonhomie haven't compromised the integrity of the judiciary, why should this joint puja be seen as a sellout, viewers? Now, here are some hard facts. I'm not just talking through my hat, viewers. I'm going to back up instances in the past of bonhomie between Prime Ministers and Chief Justices of India or active senior members of the judiciary. And let me read them out to you. In the early years of independent India, Prime Minister Nehru, yes, the liberal, law-abiding Prime Minister, met with Chief Justice Kania. It is said these early interactions were pivotal in shaping India's judicial framework. Hardly any detailed minutes of these meetings exist. Now, let me also tell you that Jawaharlal Nehru tried to change the order of succession after the Chief Justice died in office, viewers, of that time. He wanted to bring a judge by superseding 2 or 3 other judges. Viewers, 6 of the justices of the Supreme Court revolted. They wrote letters. They said this cannot be allowed. That order of seniority must be followed. It's an unwritten rule. But Jawaharlal Nehru got the message, viewers. That didn't happen. That didn't happen in the public domain, viewers, where the Prime Minister was doing a joint puja. These things happen behind closed doors, even if they do, viewers, even if they do. There are no detailed, well-documented public records of specific meetings between Indira Gandhi and Chief Justice A.N. Ray in 1973, and he, of course, was appointed by superseding others. July 1953, Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, M.C. Chagla, in a letter to Prime Minister Nehru, wrote that he was proud of the Prime Minister as he had given the country international status. This was not seen, viewers, as the judges sidling up to Maska Maro, to put it bluntly, Prime Minister Nehru. October 1960, Justice M. Anantanarayana of the Madras High Court, in a defamation case, had described Nehru as a, quote, greatly esteemed national leader, unquote, viewers. Does that mean he was also wanting something? Or he let his bias prevail in that particular matter? April 1958, a bench of Chief Justice of M. Hidayatullah and Justice G. Bhatt of the Madhya Pradesh High Court had termed Nehru as, quote, the most beloved leader of the people, unquote. Does that mean, viewers, they were also supplicating? And subsequent judgments passed by this bench were all skewed against the spirit of the law. 1980, Justice Bhagwati reportedly wrote a congratulatory letter to Indira Gandhi for her election victory. I mean, can you believe that, viewers? What to make of all of this, viewers? Is this really a non-issue? Has the ecosystem, just to further a politics, a narrative, descended now to plucking at non-issues? To throw, as they say, muck, kichad, which is a colloquial expression in Hindi, viewers. Let's go across to a very senior member of the entire legal fraternity, Mukul Rohatgi. He joins us, former Attorney General of India. He's also senior advocate as of now. Mr. Rohatgi, you've seen these pictures, they're on your screens. What do you make of this meeting, first of all? What is your impression of it? I'm not going to ask you a loaded question. What's your impression?
I don't think one should read anything into these kind of things. I mean, this is not really a meeting also. I mean, it's an invitation from whatever I saw or read in the newspaper. An invitation by the Chief Justice to the Prime Minister to join him for Ganesh Puja. I mean, why should, people read anything into it or politicize anything? I mean, 2 or 4 people coming together for a puja, it should hardly be an issue of any debate, according to me.
Well, some people say this is, these optics are quite unprecedented, that this has not happened before. And these meetings or this meeting is indicative of a conviviality, sir, of a conviviality who, according to your counterparts like Indira Jaising, Prashant Bhushan and others, has the potential to blur the lines between 2 organs of the state and erode the independence of the judiciary. That's why they're getting worked up.
I don't think, Rahul, that is correct. I mean, people in these kind of positions, whether it be the Prime Minister or a Minister or Chief Justice or a Chief Minister, I mean, they also meet at various functions, be it Independence Day, be it Republic Day, be it a meeting of judges, be it a retirement of a judge, dinners are thrown, dinners are attended, and every time a new government comes in, the new Prime Minister will also call people for dinner, etc. These are normal civilities, as if I may call them. I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with separation of power or blurring of these kind of things, as you said. I mean, if one sees that there is a dilution of the separation of powers, etc., that is seen by actions. That is not seen by 2 people meeting or having dinner together, as one would have on various functions or various occasions. Actions would show that. I mean, let me give you an example. the court backed down or buckled, whatever you may say, whatever phrase you may use, is really what happened in the aftermath of the emergency. The infamous case decided by the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said that fundamental rights will remain suspended during the emergency. That is a time where I would say the court did not stand up to what it should. And whatever be the reason, that was a case where I would say the court buckled. And that infamous judgment was ultimately overruled by the Supreme Court. Therefore, I don't think one should make much out of, these kind of things and politicize, and that too a puja, for God's sake. I don't think that's of any importance.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the emergency, because there are people who say, and you've heard this probably discourse over the last 9 years, that the judiciary under the NDA has not lived up really to what the people expect of it. And therefore, this display of closeness, this very obvious display of closeness, adds to the impression that it is supplicating and reinforces a culture, according to them, of quid pro quo, sir. That is what is being said in high places. Now, how do you respond to this observation, that there is a Mili Bhagat, as they say?
Look, I don't think this question should be addressed by reading much into meetings. As I told you, meetings have nothing to do with it. You may have meetings, but the court or the backbone of the court may be ramrod straight, and the court may not buckle at all. Yes, people do talk that in the NDA in the last so many years, things have not been as they are. Some judgments, I would say that some judgments on the issue of liberty of people under PMLA and other cases, some judgments delivered 3-4 years were not correct. But in the last few months, I have seen the court has corrected itself. The course is being corrected. So these things have happened, but I don't think that there's any repeat of a situation which was during the emergency at all. No, I don't think so.
Well, the people say, let me just play devil's advocate. The warming of the Chief Justice of India to the Prime Minister, close to retirement, they say is being called an attempt to bag a sinecure, and they take you back to one of the former Chief Justices of India, Mr. Gogoi, who accepted a Rajya Sabha post right after delivering a very consequential judgment, the Ayodhya judgment, sir. Does this line of questioning lack justification in the light of the Gogoi precedent? Let me put it there, out there for you to answer.
No, see, questioning such a meeting at a puja certainly lacks justification. The example which you gave of Justice Gogoi taking up that position immediately thereafter, I think personally speaking, that was not a correct decision of Justice Gogoi. He should not have taken. Whether it was some kind of a quid pro quo or not, I don't know. But I don't think he should have taken that position. That did harm to the court's reputation. But as of today, reading something into a meeting, which happened at a puja, why question this? Why not question the fact that the Chief Justice and judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court or the higher echelons meet government or heads of government very frequently at various functions? Why don't you question that? Why doesn't somebody question the fact that the Rashtrapati calls all judges for dinner when a new Chief Justice comes or a Chief Justice retires? It's things like that. These are matters, as I said, of being civil. And that too, a question of a puja. I don't think one should read anything into it and condemn people just because, if somebody invites somebody for a puja. No.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rohtgi. You've been very objective. You've called a spade when it needed to be. especially on the point of Mr. Gogoi. Thank you very much. Let's open this up, viewers, further. We have with us some distinguished members of not just the judiciary but also of the legal fraternity. There's S.N. Dhingra, former judge of the Delhi High Court, J. Anand Dehadrai, advocate, Sumit Chandar, another advocate, Tuin Sinha, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So let's open this, let's have a conversation, but I want to begin almost one-on-one, if you please, with someone that has really served the cause of justice very admirably, and that is the former judge, S.N. Dhingra. Dhingra ji, thank you very much for speaking to me. I just want to ask you a couple of questions here. We've heard Mr. Rodgi has taken an admirably balanced position. But this entire conversation is taking place, what the ecosystem is raising, these doubts, in the backdrop of constant talk that there is some match fixing that has gone on over the last few years, that judgments have been too favorable towards the government, and you know, sir, what has been said. Now, of course, when the judgments are going the other way, then people are getting very excited and saying now, yes, suddenly the judiciary has developed a backbone. But can we actually look at these optics and be as objective when there is this conversation in the backdrop, Mr. Dhingra?
So see, one thing I have strong objection against saying that judiciary under NDA and judiciary under UPA. There is no judiciary under NDA and no judiciary under UPA. Judiciary is judiciary. And if you say judiciary under NDA, then you have to admit and say it that this judiciary was appointed by NDA and is working for NDA, and earlier judiciary was appointed by UPA and was working for UPA. The facts are totally contrary, because NDA cannot appoint judiciary and UPA till after 93 could not have appointed judiciary. Prior to 93, judiciary was being appointed by the government, and after 93, judge's case, judiciary is being appointed by judiciary itself. Although I have strong reservations about this collegium system, but that is not the issue today. The issue is attending of Prime Ministers at the house of Chief Justice of India, a puja ceremony. This was a personal function at the house of Chief Justice. It was his liberty. I think you should give him at least this much independence, whom he wants to invite and whom he doesn't want to invite in his personal function. If he says the Prime Minister of India, then it is objectionable. If he would have invited Mr. Kharge or Rahul Gandhi, then he would have been great independent judge. This state of affairs in the mind of those critics, I think, is a very sorry state of affairs, that you are not even believing the topmost judicial constitutional functionary of this country, who has been Chief Justice and who has been Chief Justice of Supreme Court as well as Chief Justice of High Courts. Now, taking this an incident of his biasness or his compromising position is, see, a comment of, I would say, the minds who are themselves polluted. See, these very judges, all the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts, attend personal functions of the senior advocates, day in, day out. They don't put pictures on the, you see, Twitter or X handle, but this is a fact that these judges attend personal functions of these very senior advocates, and on the earlier, if on the previous night they have attended function, on the next day same advocate will be appearing before the judge, would be arguing the case. If that is not biased, if they are not they don't get biased by attending functions of these very senior advocates, and they get biased because one chief executive has attended the personal function, I think there cannot be more vilification of this office.
So, Justice Dhingra,
then
why is this
what is being
ecosystem
done?
then making these scurrilous accusations? Baseless, let's put it like that, baseless.
You see what for this ecosystem is? The ecosystem exists only for this vilification. They have vilified Chief Election Commissioner. They have vilified all investigating agencies if the case goes against them. Now the turn was of Judiciary, so they have, they found an opportunity, and they seek, opportunities for how to vilify. They are vilifying the whole nation. You see, if you hear that Sikhs have no right to wear pagdi and Sikhs have no right to wear kada, and they will find it difficult to visit Gurdwara if this is the kind of mental status of this ecosystem, what else you can expect?
Okay.
You cannot expect anything more from them. That they will, they
so it's
one
political.
Day they have,
so you're saying it's political. It's political. They just want to constantly cover up for their own failures by suggesting that the system is rigged against them. That's what you're saying, Justice Dhingra.
You see, I say the system is rigged, but not by visit of Chief Prime Minister.
Right.
This system is rigged because this system gives relief only to rich persons.
True.
And only in those cases where highly paid advocates who charge 20 to 21 lakh per hearing.
That is something that a lot of people have said.
Appear.
Yes, Dhingra Saab. Yes,
You
I
see,
understand. That's
these
a different.
People did not raise objection.
Yeah.
You see, this is a system where poor men have no say.
True, true. That, of course, is
And
a larger debate.
You see,
Justice Dhingra, that's a larger debate. Now, I want to bring in, just stay on with me. I want to bring in also, just stay on with me, sir, please. Please grant me that benefit. Sumit Chandar is here with us. Sumit Chandar, hello. Yeah, can you hear me? J. Anand Dehadrai, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay,
Loud
great.
Clear.
So,
Loud.
Sumit Chandar is there. Sumit Chandar, I mean, what are we doing here? Why are we impeaching people, indicting them for this? I mean,
Rahul,
I wish...
I'd like to answer this.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just bring in Mr. Chandar also. I would like it. In fact, if Rahul Gandhi and the Prime Minister would do a joint puja, wouldn't we all like it? Wouldn't it be a nice gesture? Would we then say there's a fixing between the two? That one is the B team and one is the C team of the other?
See, first of all, the words indicting, accusing, I think they are very harsh and strong words we are using in the present context. I do say that there are a lot of lawyers associations who are expressing their protest over this visit. That visit is not because they are trying to accuse anybody of anything. The protest is basically to ensure that the independence of judiciary is not only, like in all legal matters, we say that justice should not only be done, it should seem to be done. Similarly, whatever has taken place, I'm coming to that. There are Supreme Court judgments itself, Supreme Court in several cases, including Chandrakumar, Keshav Nand Bharti, wherever they have said that integrity of the judiciary is in a democratic system of government is the highest importance for securing fearless functioning of an independent and efficiency of judiciary. What we are saying here is not that it has been compromised in any manner, but it is also at the same time, you cannot in today's social media platforms and everywhere float out that in a personal event, not in a state event.
They are saying there's a quid. They are saying there's corruption. There's quid pro quo. They are saying many judges are given big posts after retirement. This raises doubts on judicial independence. Some people are talking about some judgment that is pending with regards to Maharashtra and that entire fiasco of breaking the MLAs, etc., and that they have been put on hold. 1 minute. Let me bring in Jay Anand Dehadrai on this point. Yes.
Hi, Rahul. Good evening. You know, as a proud Maharashtrian and as a member of the bar who practices in the Supreme Court, I'm absolutely incensed by this ridiculous statement that a senior member of the bar, Indira Jaising, has put out. I'm equally incensed today, and I'm very saddened by what Mr. Chandar has said. I have personal regard for him. But this is an absolute non-issue. Look at what's happening. This is a calculated attempt, according to me, to browbeat the judiciary by a certain cabal. When you don't get orders your way, what do? You start targeting certain individuals who occupy high office. There's a trend today that you target these individuals, you try and embarrass them. Now, insofar as the Chief Justice is concerned, I can rattle off 5 or 6 judgments to you right now, which have been held completely against the government. But whether you take 377, the Mines and Minerals case, which was recently decided, you take the Aadhaar Act, in which, in fact, the Chief Justice wrote a dissenting opinion against the government.
Okay.
There are so many instances, Rahul. And one more thing. Are we really saying, are we questioning even the integrity of the Prime Minister? Is it said that the Prime Minister has some personal case listed before the Chief Justice in which he's going to get some favor? There's no case of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
The Prime Minister's integrity is not at question.
Gentlemen, just hold your thoughts. J. Anand Dehadra, I want you to stay on with me because this is a very important story we are breaking. There's a development to Sena. Please stay on with me. We'll need your comments in on this. Mamata Banerjee, under pressure, under populist, huge popular outrage against the manner in which she handled the RG Kaur rape and murder case, has come out and said, I'm ready to resign if that's what people want. Big statement from Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. I'm going to try and connect with our reporters. J. Anand Dehadra is there with us. Tuin Sinha is there with us. We're going to come out to them in just a few moments. But Mamata Banerjee says, I'm ready to resign. She says, I don't want the Chief Minister's chair. This is a big declaration. Is she under pressure? Or is this an attempt to rally, literally, public sentiment in her favor and try and put counter pressure on the protesters? Let's go straight across to Komolika. Komolika, what's going on here? Mamata Banerjee has come out with this big statement.
Absolutely, Rahul. As you pointed out, obviously there are two things together. Right now behind me is all the students, they are still there, the 32 students who came to meet Mamata Banerjee, and she also waited for 2 hours. It's a fight of nerve game. But the fact is, Mamata Banerjee coming out with such a big statement means a lot. Number one, as you pointed out, definitely the government is under pressure. No doubt the government is under pressure. On the other hand, Mamata Banerjee in her own tactics trying to give that counter pressure in an emotional way. She says that she is a lady who has come up from the movement. She is not the person who is looking for a chair, and that's the reason she is ready to resign. She is saying that if such is the circumstances, if people want, for the people, I am ready to resign. That's what the exact quote of Mamata Banerjee is. Clearly, Mamata Banerjee is trying to create a counter pressure in the emotional way when the government is really in a pressure. And those 32
sympathy
students,
card.
they came today, they said they want
sympathy
absolutely,
card.
and this 32
But
students,
Komolika, the
here.
point is, she doesn't need to go this far. All she needs to do is to get rid of the 2 joint commissioners. That is what some of the protesters want. The Kolkata CP, and of course, take visible action, punitive action against the Dr. Ghosh, isn't it? That's all that and pretty much take some steps to try and insulate the doctors from backlash, from public anger, etc., and secure them. That's all they want. What is this drama?
Yes, absolutely. It is a high-scale drama, and this male versus male, then coming and waiting and all these things. This gives a very, raises very big questions. The demand of students were removing of the Kolkata Police Commissioner, removing of the DME, DHS. Now the point of the government was that, if like this they remove people, then it's a democratically elected government. That's what they have said yesterday, of the record while she was talking to the industrial people. But at the same time, they are trying to show that they are giving enough time to the junior doctors. But junior doctors, they are saying that these are the 5 demands. The justice, well, it is with the hand of CBI, but state government can talk to the CBI. That is one point. And second, third, fourth is the total health system has a threat syndicate. So people who are heading this threat syndicate, they should go, because until and unless they are cleansed from the system will not be right. So that was
now
the point of the doctor.
Now there's another way of looking at it, Komolika. There's another way of looking at it, that the Chief Minister is ready to sacrifice her own chair, but not in any way dent the system. Viewers, who is serving whom? That could be a question that is posed. But first, listen to Mamata Banerjee. I'll come back to Komolika. J. Anand Dehadra is also there with us. Shiv Sena is also there with us. We're also going to be joined by someone who will give us the perspective from the TMC. Yes. Let's go listen.
আমাদের সরকারকে মামাটি মানুষের সরকারকে অনেক অসম্মান করা হয়েছে, অনেক অপমান করা হয়েছে। সোশ্যাল যারা সাধারণ মানুষ জানতেন না যে এর মধ্যে একটা কালার আছে, মানুষ এসেছিলেন বিচার চাইতে।
The common people did not knew that there is a color in this. That's what Mamata Banerjee is saying.
ওরা চাইছে,
I hope people could understand.
এমন করে নিজে পদত্যাগ করতেও রাজি আছি, আমার মুখ্যমন্ত্রীর পদ চাই না।
For the interest of the people, I'm ready to resign.
বিচার পাক আর সাধারণ মানুষ চিকিৎসা পাক।
I want that Tilottama should get justice.
Resign, she says, in the interests of the people. All she needs to do in the interests of those protesters is to remove some of the so-called compromised individuals who are part of the system. Yet, viewers, she's sacrificing her own chair. Will that change the system? Fundamental question. J. Anand Dehadrai, Shiv Sena, both there with us. We're also going to go back to Komolika in just a few moments. First comments, Shiv Sena, from you.
Well, Rahul, Mamata Banerjee is a wily politician who cannot be taken at face value. Her comments right now seem to be an effort to, build pressure on the protesting students. If at all she had to resign, she should have resigned on 15th August, immediately after 7,000 goons of TMC attacked the RG Kar hospital and, tried their best to destroy evidence. Like you rightly mentioned, the two people who she needs to sack, Sandeep Ghosh anyway is out of office, and the police commissioner Vineet Goyal. Why has she not, why has she dealt with them with kid gloves? Probably because they have executed a whole lot of illegalities, for her, and she fears that they will spill the beans now. So I think, Mamata Banerjee should have ideally quit on 15th August. It's too little, too late. The damage she has done to Bengal will take a very long time to repair.
Okay. J. Anand Dehadrai, how do you view this?
I recall a public meeting where once, Mamata Banerjee, there were a bunch of students who asked some questions, and one of them got up and asked a slightly critical question to Mamata Banerjee. And I distinctly remember that she accused that student of being a card-carrying cadre member of the CPIM. So this is how, I think it's an extremely disingenuous statement. These are crocodile tears, too little, too late. You absolutely hit the nail on the head when you said that she should have taken action against both these individuals. Vineet Goyal, who's still serving, who's still in harness, and certainly Sandeep Ghosh, who is in fact being promoted. And I strongly believe that Mamata Banerjee presides over perhaps one of the most corrupt regimes in the country. There is corruption in at every level of the government of West Bengal, be it members of parliament. In fact, we had a member of parliament from her own party, Jawahar Sarkar, who's written a scathing letter about the level of corruption in West Bengal that is going on right now under her leadership. So what are we talking about? If she wants to resign, she should resign. She should have resigned a long time ago. They botched up the investigation of an innocent young girl who was brutally, beaten and then brutally raped. And now she has the temerity to say as though she's sacrificing something great. She should fix the system. They should have cracked down on... Yes.
Fix the system.
They should have cracked down on corrupt Sandeep Ghosh. Why was he being promoted? Why was he being
some of the others who are obviously part of some sort of a cover-up. I mean, we've now got the evidence. It was submitted in the Supreme Court, and now we know that there was a complete botch-up of the timeline. The BJP has also sort of raised this issue. It has obviously struck a chord with these protesters. And as you rightly pointed out, the former member of the TMC, of the Rajya Sabha.
Rahul, and she's still saying this in her defense and justification. She's attributing color to the protests and trying to tell the protesters. I was listening to your colleague who translated what Mamata Banerjee said, and she's effectively saying that that they've been misled by political elements. So now even that, so this is a trend.
It's just like how she's questioning their conviction also now. She's saying that they've all been... Okay, let me just go across to Komolika for the latest on the ground. Komolika, how are the students reacting? Komolika, how are the students reacting to this? What's going on there on the ground? I can see a large number of them raising their hands and flashing their mobile phone.
See, Mamata Banerjee has left the secretariat. Right now, I'm standing in the secretariat, and here, just behind the bus, is the students, the 32 students who have come. You can see some of them are talking. And in other places, like in the Dharna stage, outside the health department, the students are flashing with the mobiles. They are all their point. Their point is their justice. Their point is their 5-point demands, where they want removal of the DME, the DHS, police commissioner. And here Mamata Banerjee has left, but still we see the students waiting out there. Last time when I spoke to one of the students, they said that we have requested for a live streaming, still we are waiting. So it's absolutely a deadlock, a stalemate situation. And on the top of that, the biggest comment, the biggest statement that is coming from Mamata Banerjee, saying that for people's interest, I am ready to resign. As for my sources in the junior doctors fraternity and the doctors fraternity, they are not going to move from their point. They are going to stick to their point. And on the other hand, the administration now will definitely be also showing the Supreme Court order. Mamata Banerjee has also said that a lot of things can be done, but she does not want to do that because she is from the movement. So, there is absolutely a deadlock, Rahul. We really don't know how this will actually work out. On the other hand, the fact that today's meeting is not taking place, and it's absolutely a flop. The biggest news that comes out from today's meeting, not happening meeting, is that Mamata Banerjee's statement that for people's interest, she's going to resign.
Wow. Wow. Viewers, now look, is this posturing? Does this sort of now take this entire story and make it really about her and not about justice? That's the fundamental question. I think this has been a clever attempt by Mamata Banerjee to insert herself into the story, make herself the polarizing figure here, rather than the cry for justice. J. Anant Dehadrai, what do you think? What do you think should be the response now from the student community? Should they press on? Should they say, okay, Mamata Banerjee, I think we've pushed you to the brink. You've at least made a declaration that you are somewhat apologetic and willing to step down, so therefore let's be more reasonable with you. How do you think the students should respond?
Rahul, to be honest, I think this is the worst kind of coercion that a sitting chief minister can bring to bear upon young students who are fighting for the right reasons. And I think this is a way to browbeat these students as well and to get them to back off. If I were them, I would say, yes, well, you should have resigned a long time ago when you couldn't manage the state and the law and order of the state. And please make no mistake, she's directly responsible because both the Home Ministry of the state and the Health Ministry of the state, both are directly under her control. So with both those departments, she holds charge for both those ministries, and she botched up essentially both.
Well,
so
let me get a reaction. Let's get a reaction from TMC sympathizer, Mr. Khan, Tausif Ahmed Khan, who joins us. Mr. Khan, Mamata Banerjee is now playing, according to some of our panelists, to the galleries. She's trying to make this about herself. All she needs to do is to take action. Why is she ready to sacrifice her own seat but not change the system? Tausif Saab.
Rahul, see, this is not the first time where the Chief Minister has offered her resignation. Even after 2019 poll results, when BJP had brought in unprecedented number of MPs for the first time in Bengal, she had offered to resign. She had made this offer to her own people, to her own party men, and to the people of Bengal who had elected her to be the Chief Minister. So therefore, it is now in the court of the people and in the court of the party men whether they advise the Chief Minister to hold on to the post, or if there is any alternative present before the people of West Bengal. And I'm sure that neither the people of Bengal nor the party stakeholders want her to resign, because there is no fault of the Chief Minister in any of the cases.
That's easy for you to say because you're a sympathizer. Tuhin Sinha is raising his hand. Just stay on with me. Tuhin Sinha, yes, you want to respond?
Yeah. Mr. Tausif Khan seems to be seconding what I said, some time back, that she's a wily politician who cannot be trusted. She has made offers for resignation even in the past, but that had no meaning. The fact is, in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it has become untenable for her to continue, apart from all the cover-up, or apart from all the destruction of evidence. The way her police officers have gone after citizens across the country, the way she has tried to obfuscate the whole issue by instead, telling the centre to amend laws and make laws stricter, when all she had to do as Home Minister of Bengal was to fast track the case. I think she lost her moral courage, or she lost her moral right to continue as CM, especially, after the attack on 14th night, or she should have quit on the morning of 15th August. And if she does not quit now, then obviously, like Tausif said, she has been in the habit of giving out these threats
Empty gesture.
which don't mean
Tokenism,
anything.
Mr. Khan. This is tokenism. Mr. Khan, can you hear me? This is tokenism.
No. See, the predicament of the BJP, when Mamata Banerjee did not offer to resign, they were unhappy. When Mamata Banerjee offers to resign, they are still crazy.
No, we want
so they
her
are
to resign.
crybaby. Because,
No, but they are saying she should step down.
BJP has not emerged as an alternative to Mamata Banerjee. The people of Bengal have faith in Mamata Banerjee, and she will continue to be the chief minister. People will not accept her offer of resignation.
People will
That
not
is what
accept.
is
Well, we'll have to
happening
get
in
that
Mamata
reaction, but let me get one reaction from Jay. Yes.
Rahul, look, it's like this. It's about accountability. Till the time this investigation is properly completed by the CBI, she should step down. She really should step down. Because questions were raised even in court about the phone call records between the Commissioner of Police, between herself, because she's the Home Minister, and between other senior members of her government. And of course, there's no doubt about it. I mean, this investigation by her government has been a colossal failure. It's been debated openly on live stream in the Chief Justice's court in the Supreme Court of India. What more? I mean, how much more material do we need, or evidence do we need to see that this entire investigation was a total failure?
And it's
if she
not
can't-
just, it's the whole system is warped, according
The whole
to a
system
TMC
is,
insider
yes.
who's just quit, Mr. Tausif Khan.
Absolutely.
There
And
is
why
a
doesn't she
MP,
fire?
Rajya Sabha, Mr. Sirkar, Jawahar Sari, has even written an article in a newspaper.
And another thing, Rahul, why is she so scared of firing these people? Why doesn't she fire? Why didn't she fire or suspend?
Yeah, exactly.
Sandeep
Fire or
Ghosh?
suspend the people who are the sort of rotten apples in the system.
That's
if she
right.
really wants to bring change, isn't it, Mr. Khan?
See, first of all these allegations by BJP that there has been a hodgepodge in investigation is not yet established. On the contrary, in the Supreme Court, CBI has submitted report which has the same finding which Kolkata police had made.
What is he
They
talking
have
about?
not come
Mr.
up with
Khan should educate
any
himself.
story that there is...
No, and not
there is a-
embarrass himself
there is a
for
case of
national
gang rape.
television.
Well,
It's been said in the
Which world
Supreme
do you
Court
live in?
openly. The
Which world do
CBI
you
has
live
filed
in?
an affidavit and
If
said that the
CBI
scene of the
says
crime
Okay.
this is a case
has
of
been
gang rape,
disturbed. What is he
Okay.
talking
Look,
about?
Rahul, I am speaking to you. I'm not talking to any other.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Make your point, Mr.
irresponsible
Khan. Make your
statement.
point. 30
So
seconds.
please
I have
ask
to
him
wrap up.
not to interrupt.
Yeah,
Please
okay,
ask
okay.
him
Make
not
your
to
point. 30
interrupt.
seconds, viewers.
See,
Yeah.
See, in the even after more than a month investigation, CBI has come to the same conclusion that Kolkata police had, and that is there's only one case, one accused so far in this case. The alleged rapist is one person, and
Well,
CBI
we
has
don't know.
sent that
We don't know.
accused
There is
to
an
judicial
individual that
person.
is being investigated by the CBI who seems to be the linchpin of the entire system, which
this- the
resulted,
question-
hang on, which
the
contributed,
allegation
resulted,
of
sir, do you
corruption
know
is
all sorts
different
of...
from rape and murder.
No,
We
no,
are
sir.
on rape and
There
murder.
is
We are
perversion,
alleging
there is
Mr.
perversion,
Mr.
there is
Khan should go
necromancy,
back.
there is all sorts of...
I think Mr. Khan
There
should
is
go back and read the
necromancy,
Indian
there's
Penal
perversion,
Code.
all sorts of things that were happening in that hospital. Maybe,
also
maybe the victim
destruction of
realized that
evidence.
all this was happening, was about to go
They are
public, and
different
they...
from the-
Anyhow,
Hospital is
I'll
not
leave it
even
at
sure
this.
of the time of the death.
I respect everybody's point of view here, viewers. The Chief Minister of Bengal has offered her resignation. Is this just an optical play? Or does she mean it? And if she does, why hasn't she resigned? I leave it at this, viewers. The Right Stand coming up.
Son in Gujarat and one is in Moregaon, Assam. The Maharashtra government recently approved a $10 billion proposal for a new semiconductor chip manufacturing facility. India is no longer watching from the sidelines. It is now actively involved in the global semiconductor production industry. With a large electronics market and a skilled workforce, India is a force to reckon with in the global technology scenario.
21st century के भारत में the chips are never down. और सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं है, आज का भारत दुनिया को भरोसा देता है, when the chips are down, you can bet on India.
From smartphones to medical devices and artificial intelligence, semiconductors are fueling a revolution. India has recognized its potential and is poised to become a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has unveiled an ambitious roadmap to position itself at the forefront of this vital industry. India's journey to becoming a semiconductor powerhouse took a decisive step with the launch of the India Semiconductor Mission. This initiative aims to build a robust ecosystem for semiconductor and display manufacturing, driving growth in key areas such as silicon semiconductor fabs, display fabs, compound semiconductors, sensors and semiconductor packaging. The ISM seeks to establish a thriving design and innovation environment, positioning India as a global leader in electronics manufacturing. By focusing on long-term strategies to develop cutting-edge manufacturing facilities, a secure supply chain and essential intellectual property, the mission aims to fuel sustained innovation in the semiconductor industry. The Indian government has approved projects amounting to 1.5 lakh crore under the India Semiconductor Mission. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Semicon India 2024, kicking off a 3-day event that aims to highlight India's strategy and policy to become a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing and innovation.
भारत के लिए चिप का मतलब सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी भर नहीं है, हमारे लिए ये करोड़ों एस्पिरेशंस को पूरा करने का माध्यम है। आज भारत चिप का एक बहुत बड़ा कंज्यूमर है। इसी चिप पर हमने दुनिया का सबसे बेहतरीन डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड किया है। भारत में लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी सुनिश्चित करने में आज ये छोटी सी चिप बड़े बड़े काम आ रही है।
Due to disruptions caused by the pandemic and increased labor costs, many global manufacturers chose to spread out their supply chains, moving some productions away from China. The China-Taiwan conflict and increasing tensions between US and China exposed vulnerabilities in the global semiconductor supply chain and led to disruptions in industries such as automotive, electronics and medical devices. This crisis sparked a shift in global strategy to diversify chip production, with India emerging as a key player in these efforts. During his recent visit to Singapore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart Lawrence Wong visited a leading Singaporean company in semiconductor and electronics sector and discussed ways for collaboration in this critical industry. He also met with CEOs from the semiconductor industry and encouraged them to consider India as a viable location for expansion. The government has given the green light to Kane Semicon Private Limited to establish a semiconductor facility in Sanand, Gujarat, with an investment of 3,300 crore.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree, One tree for humanity. One tree for Mother Earth. One tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Co-powered by.
Besides Kane Semicon, there are currently 5 semiconductor projects approved by the centre, including a chip fabrication plant in Dholera, Gujarat, and 4 chip packaging facilities. 3 packaging units are in Sanand, Gujarat, and 1 is in Moregaon, Assam. The Maharashtra government recently approved a $10 billion proposal for a new semiconductor chip manufacturing facility. India is no longer watching from the sidelines. It is now actively involved in the global semiconductor production industry. With a large electronics market and a skilled workforce, India is a force to reckon with in the global technology scenario.
21st century के भारत में the chips are never down. और सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं है, आज का भारत दुनिया को भरोसा देता है, when the chips are down, you can bet on India.
From smartphones to medical devices and artificial intelligence, semiconductors are fueling a revolution. India has recognized its potential and is poised to become a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has unveiled an ambitious roadmap to position itself at the forefront of this vital industry. India's journey to becoming a semiconductor powerhouse took a decisive step with the launch of the India Semiconductor Mission. This robust ecosystem for semiconductor and display manufacturing, driving growth in key areas such as silicon semiconductor fabs, display fabs, compound semiconductors, sensors and semiconductor packaging. The ISM seeks to establish a thriving design and innovation environment, positioning India as a global leader in electronics manufacturing. By focusing on long-term strategies to develop cutting-edge manufacturing facilities, a secure supply chain and essential intellectual property, the mission aims to fuel sustained innovation in the semiconductor industry. The Indian government has approved projects amounting to 1.5 lakh crore under the India Semiconductor Mission. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Semicon India 2024, kicking off a 3-day event that aims to highlight India's strategy and policy to become a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing and innovation.
भारत के लिए चिप का मतलब सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी भर नहीं है, हमारे लिए ये करोड़ों एस्पिरेशंस को पूरा करने का माध्यम है। आज भारत चिप का एक बहुत बड़ा कंज्यूमर है। इसी चिप पर हमने दुनिया का सबसे बेहतरीन डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड किया है। भारत में लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी सुनिश्चित करने में आज ये छोटी सी चिप बड़े बड़े काम आ रही है।
Due to disruptions caused by the pandemic and increased labor costs, many global manufacturers chose to spread out their supply chains, moving some productions away from China. The China-Taiwan conflict and increasing tensions between US and China exposed vulnerabilities in the global semiconductor supply chain and led to disruptions in industries such as automotive, electronics and medical devices. This crisis sparked a shift in global strategy to diversify chip production, with India emerging as a key player in these efforts. During his recent visit to Singapore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart Lawrence Wong visited a leading Singaporean company in semiconductor and electronics sector and discussed ways for collaboration in this critical industry. He also met with CEOs from the semiconductor industry and encouraged them to consider India as a viable location for expansion. The government has given the green light to Kane Semicon Private Limited to establish a semiconductor facility in Sanand, Gujarat, with an investment of 3,300 crores. Besides Kane Semicon, there are currently 5 semiconductor projects approved by the centre, including a chip fabrication plant in Dholera, Gujarat, and 4 chip packaging facilities. 3 packaging units are in Sanand, Gujarat, and 1 is in Moregaon, Assam. The Maharashtra government recently approved a $10 billion proposal for a new semiconductor chip manufacturing facility. India is no longer watching from the sidelines. It is now actively involved in the global semiconductor production industry. With a large electronics market and
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, the big story on this edition of The Right Stand is this entire ruckus created by the opposition and a section of lawyers over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the residence of the Chief Justice of Bharat, Justice T.Y. Chandrachud, on the occasion of Ganpati Puja. So the Supreme Court Chief Justice and his family are seen doing the Aarti or worship or standing while Prime Minister Narendra Modi is performing the Aarti to the Vignaharta or Ganeshas that's been kept during the time of Ganpati. Now, from leaders of the Congress party to top lawyers to many other political outfits or parties part of the INDI alliance, they've all come out and taken umbrage. They are attacking Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Justice Chandrachud. The question arises whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi has committed an offence or breached the entire separation of powers logic where the judiciary and executive are supposed to be independent of each other by visiting Justice Chandrachud's residence upon his invitation for being part of a festival. Now, the whole question is being asked about the impartiality of the Chief Justice, and that being in danger because of the Prime Minister's visit to his residence for the puja. Now, many are asking this question, is it because Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to Justice Chandrachud's residence, or is it because it was for a puja? There was a Hindu festival or a ritual and they were together in a Hindu festival. Is that the reason why? And the group that is asking this is supposedly liberal, largely calling themselves very, very liberal. They are not. And somewhere who believe that Justice Chandrachud was on their side. And by doing this, he has shifted sides. And thereby his justice, his judicial wisdom, his acumen, and his ability to preside on cases over the next 2 months that is remaining of his tenure is now being questioned whether it's going to be partisan or bipartisan. Should they have gone public with these pictures? Should they have done this privately, quietly? Now, this answer can be very easily found at that period when neither the BJP was in power nor was Justice Chandrachud around. We get a clear answer to this question in the autobiography of the likes of Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar, who was appointed the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court during the time of the country's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru. There are other instances in the past where the separation of powers hasn't existed, ladies and gentlemen. Where the executive has directly interfered, influenced even the construct of the judiciary. During the times of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, thereafter continuously in successive Congress UPA-led governments, we've seen these instances, and even in the non-Congress UPA governments, there have been instances where there has been close proximity, as documented by former Chief Justice Gajendra Gadkarji himself, between the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice, not just the Prime Minister, even the Home Minister. So the people who are taking umbrage, are they taking umbrage? Would they have been okay had Justice Chandrachud and Prime Minister Narendra Modi just had a cup of tea? They are okay with MPs from their side, lawyers from their side, who regularly wine, dine and are very close, have maintained close friendship proximity with the Chief Justice. They're okay with that. Perhaps would they have been okay had it just been a cup of tea? Are they taking umbrage because it's Ganesh Vandana? Both of them are in the same frame praying and celebrating the festival of the Vignaharta, the remover of obstacles as far as the Hindu way of life is concerned, that is Ganesha.
हमारी जो केस है महाराष्ट्र में, जो घटना बाह्य सरकार चल रही है और उसकी सुनवाई चंद्रचूड़ साहब के सामने चल रही है, तो हमें शंका है कि हमें न्याय मिलेगा.
A judge should ensure that he is impartial. He will not take any sides. That is why we are there. Everybody is condemning Modi's visiting Puja in the judge's house.
That in 2009, when Mr. Balakrishnan was the Chief Justice of India, and at the time, the incumbent Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh hosted an iftar party at his residence, which was attended by the Chief Justice of India. One can ask a question then also.
और वहाँ अमेरिका जाके इल्हान ओमर से मिलते हैं, उस पे आपत्ति नहीं है.
If executive and the judiciary both comes together to celebrate Puja, whether it be Ganpati Puja or some other Puja, I think it is a step we should welcome.